Our world is full of interesting things, and they happen almost every day. With the scope of the world, it's easy to assume that we don't know a lot about what goes on every day, and most just go on with their lives without even thinking about them. Well, today we're going to discuss crazy things happening around the world that you haven't heard about. First up is the darkest substance in the world. First thing on this list is something that was found out a few years ago, but didn't get much news coverage, so not many people even know this exists. In 2015, the darkest substance in the world was created. This is called Vanta Black, and it was created in the UK by the company Surrey Nanosystems. According to those who created it, Vanta Black actually absorbs around 99.98% of light that hits it. From our perspective, you can't actually see anything when our eyes look at it. This is because no light is bouncing off of it for our eyes to pick up. This is why the substance looks like a deep black hole, as if nothing is actually there. Next up is alien-looking sea creature. We always see some insane sea creatures popping up in the news and on social media. But did you know that we have actually found a sea slug that looks just like a supposed alien? Well, we have, and it's called the Glaucus atlanticus. The nickname for this thing is the Blue Angel, and it is only found off the coast of South Africa and Australia. Though this thing might look pretty harmless, it's the complete opposite. The creature actually consumes other venomous creatures and uses their venom for its own use in capturing later prey. People don't know about this thing because it wasn't really reported on much. But it's a cool creature anyways. Next up is a slice of cloud. Another crazy thing that happened in the world was the creation of aerogel. This is a substance you might have seen on TV, but don't really talk about it much. The substance is what scientists call an ultralight material that's made from both gel and glass. This thing has basically no weight to it, and it's been compared to a cloud in many ways. The main comparison is the looks. The thing looks like a piece of frozen smoke, or like you've taken a slice out of a cloud in the sky. Aerogel comes in many forms, but this one is very specific for the way it looks. It's primarily made out of air, so it's not the best thing for insulation. It doesn't seem to have many uses right now, but it's a cool thing that happened over the past few years that you might not have heard about. Next up is bright blue lava. Volcanoes and lava aren't anything new and can't be considered something crazy that has happened without us knowing. But what if we told you that a volcano has been found that supposedly spews out bright blue lava? The Kawalujan volcano in Indonesia is the culprit of all of this. Though the lava sadly isn't actually blue, it only looks that way because of the high quantities of sulfuric gas that comes out with the normal lava. These two create a bright blue hue that makes the lava look blue on the surface to us all. Even with everything explained, this place looks crazy. Next up is an alien planet on Earth. This next crazy thing looks like it came straight off an alien planet. People would love to visit an alien planet one day and explore the intriguing things of the universe. Closest thing we have right now are video games. These games depict planets like nothing else can. This is what the Danakil Depression looks like. The landscape looks almost alien-like or even something from Mars. It has lava pools and neon hot springs. The place even has some salt flats that look straight out of a video game like No Man's Sky. This place is insane and doesn't get much news or social media coverage. It's a place many would love to go visit now you have finally heard about it. Next up is underwater lakes and rivers have been found. Most already know that we don't actually understand a lot of things in our ocean, let alone know everything about it in the first place. This crazy thing that happened is something you'll want to know about and be annoyed that you didn't already. A few years ago, it was found out that there are actually underwater lakes and rivers. These are named brine pools. The water in them is denser than the rest of the water, so it forms a lake that appears to separate from the sea around them. These lakes and rivers have distinct waves and their own shoreline. Sadly, we aren't allowed to go in them because they are too toxic for us to survive. This is just crazy, and we bet you wish you already knew about them. Next up is the biggest living thing on the planet. What would you think the biggest living thing on the planet is? Most would assume it to be a creature or something we just haven't found out yet in the ocean. Surprisingly, neither of those are the reality. The biggest thing is actually a fungus. This thing sits under the pondo tree colony, and they're named the Amaryllia stoya mushroom. They have the funny nickname of the humongous fungus, and they're spread across 2,385 acres of land in Oregon. They're said to be very delicious and have been growing for between 2,400 years and 8,650 years. These things are crazy. Show just how much there is still to uncover in this world. Next up is microorganisms that can survive in space. This next one you might have seen floating around the internet at some point, but the story and the information behind it are not as well known. These microorganisms were founded and are named tardigrades. They come across as mini piglets and are very fascinating. They love moist places such as moss or mud, but it was also discovered that they can even live in extreme hot and cold temperatures. The main thing they're being known for is that scientists realize that these microorganisms can actually survive in space. The pressures and radiation they can survive could actually allow them to be used in space one day. What a crazy discovery. Next up is goblin sharks have been found. The penultimate section of this list is based around another sea creature that was discovered. This creature's been known about for a while now, but has only recently been surfacing online because of its ghoulish appearance. This sort of thing happens with the internet. People see something weird and it gets sent around like wildfire. This just happens to be a goblin shark. It's a very rare species of deep sea shark that can be compared to a living fossil. They can detach their jaw and can detect electrical signals just like other fish in those deep waters. This crazy thing happened and not many have spoken about it. It's a shame because this fish is insane. And finally, we have underground cathedral that's made out of salt. The final crazy thing that's happened around the world that you won't have known about is a discovery of an underground cathedral. This cathedral was found in Colombia and is named the Salt Cathedral of Zipaquirá. This thing has something special compared to other cathedrals. It's actually made out of salt. It has multiple giant salt crosses and seems to accommodate around 10,000 people. The cathedral was found below a small town in Zipaquirá. Though it was found quite a while ago, it's never really popped up online or in the news. It's a really fascinating place, and the images we have of it look jaw-dropping. And that's the end of the list. Our Earth is truly crazy, and so much is happening that we don't even know about. Even though some of these things happened a few years ago, they weren't really spoken about. It shows the scale of our planet and how much really happens on a regular basis. It takes this long for these crazy things to even get to mainstream audiences. It takes people to go out of their way to look it up instead of just coming to their newsfeed or even the TV. Earth is full of some pretty cool and strange things that are just incredible to see. We went over some creatures that have been found that really test what we think of organisms from Earth. Are these things actually aliens? Does it show that we don't know much about our oceans and the planet in general? Crazy things happen all across the world all the time, and more are happening as you watch this video. We don't really know everything as the scope of the world is just too big. As technology increases, we'll be able to see just what's happening everywhere we possibly can. What a bright future we have. That's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Bye.